and we're back. It's Nimut Sailor, joined by Switch and Paris. We're in Game 6 here in the Winter Series Finals, the second round of games between Vaalbara and the Syndicate. Like I said, it's Game 6. So far, it's tied up 2-2 and then a tie. So whoever wins this game has a pretty huge advantage coming into Game 7, as Game 7 is capture the flag, and there is a chance for a tie there. So winning this game can be very big. Grave Reason to Swim is the name of this map. Flag Rally, the game type. So, what do you guys think? You have anything to say? Hello?
Oh yeah, it looks like GKG just finished up his trade. Rat King is done. GKG hasn't had any units yet, so I'm just taking a look at the trades, see what they're doing.
Very balanced so far, but you'll see that it looks as if Vaalbara opted not to trade for any Solace.
That's
getting
true.
And huge dwarfs.
A bit more, yeah, a lot more dwarf heroes out of them. So that's a lot of unit trading value, so to speak, just going into those one or two units, you know.
It's an interesting choice. I mean, last game they opted not to take archers, and here they're
And the
opting.
rain. There's rain here. You know, it's a factor. It
Well-
changes all throughout the game.
Do heroes dud in the rain though?
Yeah, that's the only time they dud besides throwing it into the water.
Really? Interesting, because I know they don't dud otherwise.
And Syndicate getting brigands here.
Yeah, both sides maxing whites, as Paris was pointing out. Gonna be lots of sinking going on.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts about this map is all sorts of surprises.
Interesting. So it looks like 5 brigands for the Syndicate, which is kind of comparable to, they're not going all out on brigands like Vaalbara did last game with the Warriors, but they do have, I think, 16 Solace, I want to say. It's pretty significant. Whereas Vaalbara has, I want to say 9 Dwarven heroes. Syndicate, only 2, looks like. Kind of curious. About spiders.
Game on.
Looks like Vaalbara does have, I don't know, how many spiders do we have here? We have 8, 11, maybe 15 spiders for the Syndicate. And I want to say closer to 20 for Vaalbara.
Well, GKG is clearly playing on a very fast-paced strategy here. Look at Limps telling him to go, 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 go. GKG seems to have like a split. So he has Arsenic and Asmodean going east, Limp and Eastwind north, and I guess it'll be him and Kruniak kind of taking up the mid. Syndicate looking to replicate kind of a split, although I'm noticing they're going all mid with their fetch. Of course, GKG, Vaalbara coming with the fetch, so we should expect some pretty epic fetch battles going down.
Yeah, what do we got for fetch matchups? So we got Kruniak and GKG versus Roar and Adrenaline, it looks like.
On the flanks, I think Syndicate's going to run into a little trouble in the south. You've got Arsenic and I think it's just Arsenic, but him and Asmodean possibly going to put some pressure on. Looks like just Paris. On the other hand, Paris is bringing a fetch with him.
My bad. I was just gonna say Val has
Holy
2 extra fetch mid.
Dude, check out Flag 6, all the way in the west. There's 4 Dwarven heroes just chilling on there. 2 for Eastwind, 2 for Limp.
Yeah, big defense there. very surprising, or maybe not so surprising, considering the defensive style play we've seen from Vaalbara throughout this whole series.
That kind of makes sense that that's where they're going to mount their defense. Their main defense is on that kind of raised area where there's only maybe 3 openings.
Again, though, this is gonna sort of hand the initiative to the Syndicate. They're going to be able to react to that now that once they spot GKG's strategy.
And actually, the mid is being held by the Syndicate.
Looking at Demolition and Arsenic here. Arsenic tossing in these Dwarven Hero bottles. Demolition's got to be careful. One of those connects could be the end of a lot of those Solus. He's being hounded by GKG coming in with the fetch now, too. A little worried about Demolition. Paris sees this, is coming over to try to help him.
Yeah, I don't know if Paris is going to be able to do much. The thing, though, Demo is actually trying to make it to his white, but I don't think his white's going to do much. I think he's going to just hang out at over the deep water, try to avoid the fetch.
Kruniak was having a nice little fetch versus Solus battle with Akira. Akira, I think, lost to Solus, but was able to pull back. Kruniak is kind of refocusing mid now.
Yeah, and actually, Eastwind does have a white in the water there. It's amazing that these whites got they sank pretty easily.
Yeah, these whites are coming in everywhere, and so far nobody's really been able to get the connection on them to take them out with a fetch shot.
Yeah, it's almost like nobody knows they're there.
Something to keep an eye on.
Meanwhile, flag 6, it looks like Argos might be trying to mount something, but I don't know. It seems like he's not really eager to start something there. Mid, I think, looks like Syndicate might be leaving mid to focus on it looks like GKG is about to get rushed here.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, huge. But nice counter. GKG managing to kill 2 of his own.
Adrenaline able to snipe 2 of those fetches with his Berserker.
Adrenaline needs to mobilize his units and save those fetch.
That worked out pretty well for Adrenaline, I gotta say.
That worked out really well for the Syndicate, although they are only up by 4%. So it did cost them a lot.
Was that Paris's Heron hero?
That was a hero. That was a hero. Got taken out. So now they're only up by 1%. Well, actually, 2% now. They just killed a Berserk. And Paris is trying to shoot those Mandrake roots all the way across to the mid. Interesting strategy, although it just sinks into the water. I don't think anybody got it.
Meanwhile, in the west, you've got Argos is kind of just goofing around here, I gotta say, because he's trying to pressure.
There's nothing he can do.
Defense.
He can't do anything.
But there's nothing he can do. Yeah, he's got to relocate.
What he needs to do is he needs to pinch Kruniak.
I agree.
He needs to move east. And he's not doing it. I think he's just containing flag 6, but they're actually vacating some units. I think Limp is leaving flag 6, leaving it to Eastwind.
I heard a white go off somewhere.
I don't know.
Oh, well, Adrenaline just smoked one of GKG's, yeah.
79, 80%. So only up by 1% is the Syndicate so far. They do still have the mid.
And Limp is scouting out the back flags with a Berserk. But unfortunately, Vaalbara doesn't have enough or any force that's been able to slip through to start tagging those.
Yeah, those Brigands are actually a nice inhibiting force there. I don't think Limp's going to be able to do anything with that.
Meanwhile, Rar is having an epic Heron Guard hero battle with Arsenic. Looks like Arsenic's going to get the better of him.
Oh, shoot. Whose was that? I think, was that Akira? He just took out Kruniak's fetch with his white.
Yeah, huge white blast.
And we saw Adrenaline he really wanted to start something with GKG, but now he's backing off a little bit.
5 minutes.
Speaking of whites, we'll see if Eastwind here is able to get some revenge on Akira. He's got 2 whites ready. I think Akira knows it though, so he's not going to cross.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kira might want to stick to dry land for a while. It's a pretty vulnerable spots. Meanwhile,
What's
Argos.
going on?
Go ahead. Oh, what a! Did you see that?
no, what?
Oh, I think it was GKG with his Dwarven Hero just killed Adrenaline's fetch.
Really?
With the dwarf,
And
right?
takes out another Zerk.
That's
Still,
the thing.
percentage is basically even.
When you got one of those 3 fetch versus 2 fetch and a dwarf hero, you kind of have to leave 1 fetch in reserve because you know that dwarf hero, if the beholder is an
GKG's
experienced player, he's gonna be patient.
GKG's on the move. He's making it happen.
But he's losing a lot of fetch though. He's gonna lose some more
He
here.
lost one.
The Solus paying off. Akira doing good work.
Yes, but he's moving up with Kruniak actually has the dwarf now.
Let's see if Kruniak can get some revenge here.
Oh, it's getting close. It's getting close. I don't know if he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, he's gonna turn. Fires a volley, misses.
Dread might even want to just rush the fetch here. Forget about protecting the souls.
Yeah, it might be worth the rush, but
He's saving.
it's kind of tough with the Heron Hero.
Well, meanwhile, the Syndicate is trying to move on Vaalbara's flag defense. Vaalbara's holding on to flag 4 and flag 6.
Oh man!
And-
Oh, nice shot on Kruniak. Or Kruniak got a nice shot on Akira with the.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh! Akira though sniped that fetch last second, but Kruniak punishes Akira for that. Kind of an interesting back and forth there. Now the tables have turned somewhat. Vaalbara's up about 6 percentage points.
Less than 3 minutes to go.
Ozma and Arsenic are now defending flag 4.
Kira's going in with this white. Takes out GKG's white. Stuns
Ooh,
GKG's.
there we go.
Zerks, yep. Adrenaline's going to clean those up.
Well, he's going to do his best anyway. Yep, he does clean them up. As a matter of fact, that's going to even things up a lot. 55,
So yeah,
53%.
Vaalbara, in terms, even though percentages are close, Vaalbara's in trouble in positioning because now they're going to get surrounded. That mid force, as you can see, has just split.
Well, they're
And they're
defending.
going to go support.
They're defending 3 flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as
And
true as
Syndicate
that
knows
is, you know, they're able to be in a position where, you know, they can just kind of sit on their positions and, I don't know, I'd say inflict damage while they're waiting for their opponents to push. Because it's pretty clear that
It's hard.
in order to win the game, Syndicate is going to need to force a push and capture at least one of these flags.
Yeah.
You can see though GKG is worried about flag 4 and the rush is happening. It's Rat King is
Oh
going
yeah.
in.
Oh yeah. They're surrounded.
Fetch went
They're
down on
coming
flag
up.
6.
Oh, and a dud. Is it raining?
Oh, simultaneous multiple rushes. Look at this.
It is raining and it dudded. That's letting him up. And the fetch is on its way.
Vaalbara able to hold flag 6.
Oh, wow.
Paris gonna
Paris
smoke flag
cleans
4.
it up. Paris cleans it up. Tags flag 4. Lots of friendly fire, but it's worth it. 28, 34%. They're down in percentages, but they do have the advantage. Meanwhile,
Demolition's gonna get limp stunned Dwarven Hero.
Where's this at?
Very, very
Oh
south.
yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. But is he gonna survive? I think Limp might
They're
survive
chasing
here.
him.
Meanwhile, Adrenaline's in trouble.
He's got veterans on his Heron Hero, though, compared to the other
Gives the
hero.
dwarf.
He's going for the dwarf. He does it. He has 4 heals remaining compared
Yeah,
to
Demon's just trying
Kruniak's
to
8.
support him.
He's got to go for the Heron
Demo
Hero
needs
next.
to
No,
target.
don't go for the Zerk. See, once you get the Zerk low health, it's gonna deal some damage to you. And Argos up in the very north. You
Oh!
check him out.
Wow,
Yeah,
Kruniak
Argo
messed up.
is making a move.
Kruniak messed up there. He got his he got his hero killed,
Game over.
Oof.
and that's it. Wow, that actually time flew right there. I mean, Vaalbara was able to hold on to flag 6, and they were able to hold on to their home flag, surprisingly enough. I mean, the home flag I thought was the most vulnerable out of all of them, but there was just nobody there. And really nothing was able to get through to the Syndicate's backfield to tag
Well, you
flags for
notice
Vaalbara.
Eastwind did sneak a Zerk in, and he's about to get flag 1. Looks
Yeah.
like 1 second.
That's true. That's a good point. But even if he were to do that, I think Syndicate took their flag first, so they get the win in perm.
I think that's right,
Is that the
yeah.
case?
That is the way flag rally goes. Because when Vaalbara had that advantage all game, both teams had 4 flags.
Right. They were
Uh,
sitting on their flags, and
Yeah.
Syndicate needed to be the ones pushing in that
It's kind
in
of
that
a
case.
it's kind of established right away who has to push, who has to defend here, depending on who captures mid.
Right, yeah, that's a good point. And actually, look at Adrenaline: 17 kills, 8 losses, 43 damage. It's pretty high, but
Oh, this is pipsqueak stuff compared to
holy
Arsenic.
shit.
Ooh.
Look at that, 123 damage, 11 kills, 10 losses. What? How did he get so much damage?
I imagine whites and lots of killing of Solus and Fetch.
With what though? What, his whites?
Oh, Heron healers though. What about the
Yeah, Heron
healers?
healers. Absolutely.
Where's his units? He has 0 survivors. So I mean, what? How did he get
they
all that
were
damage?
They were on flag 4, I believe. I think I remember he was matching
Yeah, he was.
up
That's
with
right.
my units.
He was running some dwarf interference down there too.
He was on
He
flag
was doing
4.
a lot. Doing a lot for Val.
Interesting. And actually, GKG had a lot of damage too, 82.
You notice 3 players on Val out damage.
Dude,
The top damage inflictor.
that's because of
For
the heals. Heron guards, man.
you think so? But look, the percentages are still the same.
The percentages
So,
are even, but look at the
So you're
look at the
saying Sin
team.
used up more heals.
Yeah,
I see.
yep.
Yeah,
Because
that makes
Kruniak lost his. Remember, he was doing a lot of damage to Adrenaline, but couldn't take him out, and then lost his Heron hero at the end there.
Well, in Paris, yours got blown up early on, if I
Yeah.
recall correctly.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's because of those heals that kept replenishing the health of those heroes that the damage there's such a discrepancy, over 100 damage discrepancy between the two teams, and yet they have the exact same percentage remaining at the end of the game here.
Yeah, and I was thinking that the tie percentages. I want to ask you guys. I mean, have you ever seen a game where you wish there was another 2 or 3 minutes to play out? I mean, I don't know if Paris would wish that, but like, what do you think? Like, a little what if scenario there. Could this have gone differently with a little more time?
I mean, of course it could have gone differently, but it didn't. And I mean, it's a pretty huge win here for the Syndicate.
Even if there was more time here, they still would have. Vaalbara still would have had to push all the way to flag 2.
I kind of want to say, I think Vaalbara screwed up on flag 4. Well, I think.
Well, GKG saw that. You saw it. I mean, he said in the chat, like yeah.
Well, no, I think the screw up was not dropping the satchels because those satchels exploded. I mean, Parrish just came up with a fetch and everything got vaporized instantly on that flag. The
gotta drop stats, man.
Defense, offense, everything was gone, and that's how Syndicate took the flag.
Yeah, and like Syndicate, I mean, they're definitely going to get
So I
a little
mean,
bit more time here. They're going to take 5. Uh, yeah,
it's just interesting to me that there's no giants. There's fetch who can instantly just explode your dwarven heroes, and if they're standing around anything, to explode that as well. So I mean, what's the reason for not dropping satchels here?
now that's the mystery to me, man. I mean,
Because it looks like nobody did. It looks like nobody dropped satchels here. I understand they don't want to tip off Syndicate that they have dwarves, but I mean, why not just run into the water, drop satchels
yeah,
in the
put them in the
water?
water, right? Good question. But I figure it has something to do with the overall strategy for the game. So GKG wanted to play. I mean, clearly he went for this defensive strat, and having those sats could come in useful later on. Like if the fetch get taken out, and then you need to start dropping sats, just as to kind of create a minefield or something.
Well, I mean, that's the utility of that is obviously questionable, since
Questionable.
there's fetch on the map, that can just blast the whatever trap you want to set up from afar. But that also poses a question. The Limp and Eastwind are sitting on this flag 6. Why didn't they just drop sats in the little entry points? There's 3 entry points. And why didn't Vaalbara do that on the other flags they were defending with dwarves? Just kind of drop satchels on the entry points to kind of seal it up a little bit.
No, like you say, I mean, it's a matter of what they thought they were doing. Like, so normally this would be a giant match, and in that case, you definitely wouldn't want to lose those sats. So I figured that it could be path dependency. They felt it's like that's traditionally what you do is you don't drop them.
Do you think that's just force of habit then, or
Yeah, maybe. I'd say that's as good as an explanation as any because, like I say, it doesn't make any sense from the perspective of the strategy that GKG was playing for.
yeah? I mean, you would want to make use of those sats or just not have them at all because holding on to them is somewhat of a liability, as we saw on Flag
Yeah,
4.
risk factor.
I mean, sometimes you just forget though.
I
mean,
don't
it
know,
happened.
man.
It
I don't
happened.
know, man. How does nobody on Vaalbara drop their satchels? That's
It
that's
must have been planned then, because think about it. They have so many dwarves too, right? So, say one of those players with the dwarves finally gets rushed, um, and one of those dwarves goes down, drops all those satchels, and let's say 3 or 4 of Syndicate's melee were on top of it, especially one of those Heron heroes.
yeah. So
You
he
can just wipe that
suicides.
off the map pretty quickly.
That's
Yeah.
what struck me. Yeah, it's like he's playing with the suicide strategy there, which is
Interesting.
It's not exactly a strategy though. You're planning to lose in
Well,
that case.
no, it is a strategy though, because or at least it's a tactic. Whereas, I
So
mean, the whole
you're
idea
hoping
is
to
you're
deny
going.
the tag on the flag by suiciding the units that are like your dwarf is the last remaining unit, and you just suicide on whatever they have.
well, you got to think about
Well,
what did GKG think that Syndicate was going to do here, right? Clearly, with his defensive strategy, he expected to get rushed or at least pushed, and I don't think that's unfair. It's unreasonable. We've seen this whole series the aggressive play of Syndicate, so that wouldn't surprise me if that's what they were going for.
Well, it was a good
Uh,
strategy. It's just the the fact that the dwarf on flag 4 died and everything around it just immediately got vaporized when
oops.
yeah, personally, it felt like Christmas, but um, I don't know. I can definitely see how they could still be used defensively. I'm actually kind of surprised that there weren't any set up that it would have caused our push, at least in the east, a little bit more difficulty if there had been satchels set up, because
yeah,
I'd have to be clearing those, on my way to push up towards the flag.
that's kind of what I'm saying, because Eastwind was just chilling on flag 6 like the entire game pretty much, and he had all kinds of time to set something up, but he didn't.
I think he was lagging throughout the game. I believe I was reading that in chat.
Really?
Uh, and they might have had another member on the team experiencing some latency issues. Because
So
I think I recall
was that an
someone being
issue?
like, "Oh, you're lagging too."
Was that an issue for the previous game too? Because that might help explain why he was not present for the rush.
Potentially. At the same time, he was matching up on a flank with who I would say is our best body
Sure,
count
true.
effective player. And not only that, but Adren, especially if you play in 1 versus 1, you'll find it out pretty quick. But if you're going to match up with him, he's going to let you push him. So he backs off, little by little, but he's just constantly dealing damage to you. And that's kind of one of his go-to styles in 1 versus 1. So like when you look back at the end game on Cursed Earth, you can see it there where Eastwind still has to push all the way to the flag, and Adrenaline's just in between him and the flag, and kind of like giving him a lot of trouble getting there safely and securely, the way Eastwind would like to.
Right. So we don't know if he had latency in the previous game or not, but he definitely had latency this game.
Definitely. Or at least I read it in the chat. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the truth. So
Okay. Well, I'd be curious to hear from him, the man himself, if
yeah.
what the problem was. But it wouldn't be the first time that a loss were to be blamed on Eastwind and his latency. I think,
Well, it would explain something, but I think you also got to look at the bigger picture a little bit here. I was talking about what if scenarios, and you guys were pointing out, well, probably, how would this have gone? Well, look at GKG's numbers, right? 15 kills, 25 losses. I'll tell you, when I was watching this game, he was everywhere. There, like units kept popping up that he was controlling. He was moving, here or there, and it seemed like he was perhaps trying to over centralize a little bit too much. Have the rest of the team take these really, defensive positions. It's practically thrall duty,
yeah.
right? And then he's out there moving around the map, just burning up units as he's doing it. So he tried to take on too much.
It's possible, but then again, if there's anybody who's capable
Sure,
of pulling
yeah.
that off, it would be GKG. But you have a good point that perhaps he was, it's his back's against the wall. It's do or die time, and he trusts no one but himself to get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Sometimes there's no better way to do it.
Take control.
Because he has the 15 and 25, and you can see that in the end game stats. But what you don't see is he's taken 72 damage, but he's given out 82 damage. And, the stats also don't show that he won a 2 fetch, 1 dwarf versus 3 fetch fight. You don't see those things in statistics.
That looked really bad for him, and somehow he turned it around. That's a good point.
Yeah, when units turn around and you get like one extra click off, sometimes you can get some crazy extended range and really exploit the engine. They never really fixed it.
You mean for the dwarven throw?
Yeah. Mostly, you can see it mostly with dwarven throws. Yeah, the dwarves themselves kind of buggy, but that's another discussion for another day.
Pro tip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Well, pretty close. I mean, even though 23% for both teams.
The damage ratio for the team, like the kill ratio is pretty close. The damage ratio for Vaalbara, we get a 1.434 damage ratio. 4 out of 6 of their players, they're all positive, whereas on Syndicate, you only have one player with a positive damage ratio. That's Demolition, who gives 27, takes 14 at a 1.9 damage ratio. But as a total team damage ratio, Syndicate only scratches together 0.56. It's such a huge difference, 1.4, 0.56 in terms of ratio.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
All because of those heals.
Yeah, those heals. You might be tempted to look at that and say, oh, well, Vaalbara obviously performed, way better. But that's actually a testament to how well that the Syndicate used those heals.
Hey, well, I'd also say, Arsenic is one of the deadliest players in the world when it comes to Heron Guard heroes. So, and you can see that in the stats. Don't mess with him.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
That's
He is quite the efficient player, man. 2.6 damage ratio. You can't go wrong there. Yeah, he
yeah.
was able to take a bunch of stuff off. I don't think was that his dwarf that exploded on the flag too, or was
I
that
don't
someone
know.
else? I forget. I don't think it caused any negative damage. Clearly.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
just 123 damage is more than the entire team in some of the games we've looked at. So that's quite a bit.
It's impressive.
Yeah, man.
However, it looks like Vaalbara has no choice but to win the next game for some kind of I don't know.
Sudden death.
Yeah, for sudden death to kick in. Otherwise, it's looking pretty grim for them. And the next game happens to be capture the flag. So there's a very high probability of a tie. If a lot of things depend here on the Syndicate, on the approach they take with this. If how they decide to play this, if they play it completely defensively, or if they try to go for how they decide to play this next game is going to determine if Vaalbara has if it's going to be easy or hard for them to come back.
Well, GKG is going to have to do a 180 here and go completely offensive. So we're going to see how that works out.
True. Yeah, it's a good point. All right, let's wrap it up here. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and yeah, we'll see you in the decisive Game 7.
I never realized